Hi, Real McRae here with Star Trek Experiment, end of day 1, which was May 23rd. No, it was May 24th. It's May 25th right now, but I was so tired I couldn't, make a recording last night, so I'm making it now. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. At the end of day 1 of any of these projects, if I were to make a truthful video, it would go something like this. What have I done? What have I done? Oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? It would go something like that because I realized what I've gotten myself into. I'll tell you though, with both of the Dark Shadows experiments, maybe it's because I loved Dark Shadows so much, but I love Star Trek also. Maybe it's because I had something to do with the Collins Chronicles, which you really should read. I'm just saying. Who knows? But yesterday, some of the highlights were the hard time I had staying awake. And that's absolutely true. Did I have a tough time staying awake because I was tired? Not really. I had a hard time staying awake because that with which I was presented didn't give me good reasons not to go to sleep. I don't know how many double negatives I just swam in, but it might have been a lot. I don't know. Wow, these pilots are dogs. Really, when you walk away from it, Where No Man Has Gone Before, the original series pilot, is the best. The characters, and at this point the characters are Captain Kirk, are far more interesting than all of the other characters on all of the other series combined. And I wasn't necessarily expecting that. Okay, now that's actually an exaggeration. Patrick Stewart does some very funny stuff in Naked Now. And Naked Now works. It really does. It works quite well as an episode. I remember a lot of fanboy ignoramuses getting very critical about Naked Now when it happened. Because they said, oh, they're just rewriting old Star Trek scripts. Well, I guess so. But Gene chose it because it was one of the easiest ways to let us see the inner lives of these characters. So we learned a lot about them very quickly. I thought that was cool. As for the rest of it, okay, Encounter at Farpoint, it was just a bunch of hippie stuff that I'm glad he got out of his system. The Q stuff is good, but he originally just had the hippie stuff with the, jellyfish, and the mate was mad because the other mate was being used as a city or something like that. And then, the story is that Paramount said, well, we want to make this 90 minutes. I think the real story was Paramount said, this is terrible. This is bad TV. You have good characters in bad television. Gene, wake up. So they brought in John Delancey, they brought in the Q character, and that indeed pepped things up. Emissary has some good moments in it. It certainly sets up some good stuff, but, part of it's the classic, captain trying to judge humanity or defend humanity kind of thing, which also happens in Caretaker. What was the plot of Caretaker? Who cares? They get stuck in the Delta Quadrant. But for the rest of it, I don't care. And then the episode that comes after that, Parallax with Voyager, Para-X-Lax, is classic Exhibit A as to why Voyager had problems. You don't make your captain a scientist. And I'm going to tell you why. Maybe if it were now, dealing with real science, and you had a truly interesting captain like James Burke, who was really good at taking stuff and putting it into modern lingo, we'd be all right. But the captain is the audience surrogate. It's both, the person with whom the audience most identifies, and it's also the character who's kind of a fantasy figure for the audience. Oh boy, I wish I could be like that. Because at least the first two, Kirk and Picard, were fantasy figures for Gene Roddenberry. So the issue that I have is that when you get Janeway, and she's giving just one piece of techno-babble after another, and I mean, it doesn't take them more than one episode to really dig into the techno-babble, or I don't know what they're talking about, phase induction. I understand why Ron Moore made the choices he made at the beginning on Battlestar Galactica. They get into all this weirdness and just, who cares? The writers didn't. Apparently they would just put in techno-babble, and then they would have Andre Bormami, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the name, so I don't want to slaughter it like I just did, come in and write something that sounded plausible, or at least plausible to 8 people on the planet. Everybody else just doesn't care. I think the point of that second episode, or so tells a friend of me, or so a friend of mine told me, do you see what one day has done to me? Was to prove that B'Elanna was competent at being an engineer. Or they just could have made B'Elanna an interesting engineer and gotten on with the story. Meaning the story of Voyager. I'm just saying. Other wacky things, I would say that after Where No Man Has Gone Before, Broken Bow is the best of the pilots. It's pretty good, and it's clear they spent a lot of money on it. And I have to come down to that damn theme song. It's so funny that they spent a lot of money, just a ton of money on this. And then it comes down to that theme song. And I know people who turned off the television when that theme song started. Now, was this a bad move on the Turner Offers part? Yeah. Because they missed a heck of a pilot. But at the same time, they're also hypocrites. Because, well, or maybe I'm the hypocrite, I don't know. Because that stupid theme song to Firefly made me turn it off. But it certainly is no worse, nor any better than the Enterprise theme song. So far, really, the original series and Enterprise are coming out ahead. But gosh, in an effort to not duplicate Kirk, they've really extracted the gleam from the eyes of most of the other captains. The boldest thing that happens with Captain Archer is one moment after another of him being generally calmly reasonable over and over and over again. And they're going so far to make T'Pol difficult that I'm just amazed Archer doesn't say, okay, T'Pol, I think your shift is over. It's over. The duty roster got kind of messed up. It's over. Go meditate or something. Light some candles or be the most logical race in the galaxy, but worship a god or something, which even the Klingons don't do. So, anyway, I could go on, and I think I just did. I love these shows. I said after trashing them. But, there's room for improvement. Except for in the original series. And they just come out swinging. It's almost like they knew they only had 3 years. And by 3 years, I mean 2 good ones. To really, really, really get in great TV. And they did. I'm looking forward to more of it. And I'm looking forward to great TV from the others. So be great. You too. See you later. Are you still watching? Bless you. Take care. Bye.